Hey, what is up guys? I'm Ironiq and welcome to another video. In this video, I will be surviving 100 days on one block, sky block. And it's also gonna be in hardcore. I've seen a lot of people do this, so I thought I'd give it a try. But before we get into the video, did you guys know that 88% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed? If you're one of those people, do me a favor, scroll down a little and hit that big red subscribe button. Now that everyone's subscribed, hopefully, let's get right into the video. Now I have a few main goals I want to accomplish in these 100 days. First, I want to get full diamond armor and tools. Next, I want to defeat the Ender Dragon. And last but not least, I want to survive, obviously. Day 1, I stood upon the one block floating in the air. The first thing I did was break the block. It was kind of scary because I didn't want to fall through the block. So just to be sure that didn't happen, I jumped as soon as I broke it. I'm a pro, what can I say? Once I had one block to stand on, it made it a lot easier to continue mining the block. I broke a couple more blocks and a pig spawned. I then extended the island a little so me and the piggy had more room. I then continued mining the block. And soon after, the block began upgrading. It upgraded to phase 1, the plains. Oh, and I also placed the sapling I got so I could get some oak wood. After some more mining of the block, I had a little farm in a pen with 2 piggies and a cow. Shortly after, the sapling grew into a big old tree, so I cut it down. I then yet again went back to mining the block. Cause let's be honest, there's not much else to do. Lots of mining later, I had some more saplings growing and some more animals in the pen. Day 2 began with the block upgrading yet again. It upgraded to phase 2, the underground, which now meant we could get some cobblestone. I then began expanding the island. After that, I made a pickaxe and began mining the block once again. After lots of mining, a mushroom cow ended up spawning from the block. I made it its own little pen, made some bowls, and just like that, I had a pretty good source of food. I then went back to mining. Soon after, the first mob ended up spawning from the block. But don't worry, I took care of it pretty easily. After lots more mining, I finally had enough iron to make myself a sword because it was getting kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. Day 3 started with a creeper spawning from the block, which again wasn't very fun and much more scary than a zombie, but I managed to take it out. I then went back to mining the block until another creeper decided to spawn and blow up some of my island and even hurt some of the animals, but luckily it didn't kill any of them. I patched up the hole and fixed the fence, and it was fixed. After a lot more mining of the block, it began getting another upgrade. The upgrade was phase 3 icy Tundra, but before mining it, I started smelting all the iron I got from the last phase, and with some of that iron, I made myself an iron shovel. After that, I again went back to mining the block. Once I had more dirt, I expanded the island even more. I also watched a dog brutally murder a bunny. Who's a good boy? Later that same day, I had enough iron to make a helmet and a chest plate. And even later that day, I was able to make an iron pick. After cutting down some oak trees that grew, a polar bear decided to spawn from the block. He looked pretty fluffy, but he did chase around some Arctic foxes. I guess he or she doesn't like him. Day 4, I continued mining the block. While mining it, I got my first monster party, which again was kind of scary. So I boxed myself up and tactically took them out. Then I once again went back to mining the block. After a lot more mining, I made some stone bricks and began replacing the floor with it. Soon after, another wolf spawned and I had some bones, so I decided to tame it. Day 5 was much of the same. I continued replacing the floor with stone brick. I then went back to mining the block, and soon after it began upgrading yet again. It upgraded to phase 4 ocean, and I immediately began mining it. After mining it for a bit, I decided to start expanding the island even more, this time with wood. Day 6 began with me cutting down lots of oak trees. After that, I continued expanding the island. I then sheared some sheep and finally made myself a bed. I placed the bed and slept for the first time. Day 7, I began building a fence so I couldn't accidentally fall off the edge, cause that would be kind of bad. Day 8 began with me cutting down some more oak trees, and this actually took all day. Day 9, I began mining the block once again, and since it was on the ocean phase, guardians would sometimes spawn from it. And let's just say they are very annoying to fight when they're out of water. They just jump everywhere. Day 10, I continued mining the block and a dolphin ended up spawning, which was cool, but it was out of water, so I kind of just watched it die. May it rest in peace. Soon after, another monster party happened, and this time it was a bunch of guardians and elder guardians. It took a while, but I eventually took all of them out, except for one. One of them tried to disguise itself by hopping into the animal pen. Day 11, I continued mining the block, and 2 more elder guardians ended up spawning. And as I said before, they were very annoying to fight, but with full iron armor and an iron sword, I was able to defeat them. I then made a bunch of oak fences and oak slabs and started placing them around my island to finish the fence. I then built another little island for my oak saplings. Day 12, I once again was mining the block, and yet again another frickin' elder guardian spawned. I then began marking out even more space for the oak trees. Day 13 was much of the same as I began expanding the island for even more oak trees. After a lot of work and many days later, on day 17, I finally had a good design for the oak trees. Day 18, I began extending the design for the oak farm, and the plan was to extend it all the way around the main island. Lots and lots of building later, on day 23, the entire oak farm was done, and I think it turned out pretty cool looking. I then went back to mining the block, and soon after, some Vexes spawned, which was kind of scary, but I took him out. Day 24, I was again mining the block until a witch decided to spawn and poison me. How dare it. Later that day, I started a sugarcane farm, which was very small, but I only had 2 sugarcane, so it really couldn't be much bigger. Day 25, I began making some walls on the island. I then yet again went back to mining the block, and soon after a monster party spawned, which was again very scary because there was Vexes. But as you guys know, it's basically impossible for me to die, so there was no real challenge for me. Day 26 started with me almost dying to a witch. Yeah, 1.5 hearts. That was pretty close. Day 27, the block began upgrading once again. This was phase 6, Red Desert, which is weird because I don't ever remember phase 5, but I'm probably dumb. Soon after the upgrade, a creeper decided to pay me a visit and blow up. Well, that wasn't very nice, now was it? For the rest of the day, I continued mining the block. Day 28 was much of the same, but another monster party ended up spawning. Luckily, it was just a couple of zombies and pillagers. Day 29, I was still mining the block, and while doing so, the block got another upgrade. We were now in phase 7, the nether. I then started mining it, and soon after some blazes spawned, which you may not think is too scary, but let me tell you, it was very, very scary. While fighting them, they set me on fire, which was not the scary part. The scary part was after I defeated them, I looked back and my island was on fire, and I immediately started putting it out. It was a very scary situation, but I eventually put out all the fire, saving my island. But that was definitely a close one. Day 30 began with me mining the block once again, and soon after a gas spawned, but luckily it just flew straight up and didn't shoot any fireballs. Day 31 was much of the same as I continued to mine the block. Soon after, there was another monster party, and this is where it all goes downhill. In this monster party, there were pigmen, blazes, ghast, and magma cube. The blazes and ghast began setting my island on fire as they shot at me. I tried stopping it by charging the blazes and killing them quickly, but the damage was pretty much already done. While my island began burning down, the ghast was still alive and shooting at me, which was making it even worse. The worst part was I couldn't really do anything about the ghast because I had no bow, and for the life of me, I couldn't hit its fireballs back at it. And to make it even worse, as it turned night, hordes of zombies began to spawn and started chasing me. I'll be honest, at this point, I thought it was all over. I thought for sure I was gonna die, but with some quick thinking, I ended up surviving, at least for now. I was boxed up while my island continued to burn in front of my eyes. I grabbed some blocks, built up a little, made a little platform, placed a bed, and slept. Day 32, I continued to mine the block. Oh, and also, I didn't think I ever told you guys, but I made a diamond pick, so yeah. While mining the block, yet another gas spawned, which made my island begin to burn even more, but at this point it was already ruined and I couldn't really do much about it, so I kind of just sat there and watched my island burn. After watching it burn for a little bit, I went right back to mining the block, and guess what? Yet another gas spawned, but this time I fought back. I hit its fireball back at it and killed it, and got 2 achievements. If only I could have done that earlier. Day 33, I continued mining the block. I ended up getting a bucket of lava, which was gonna help me a ton. I grabbed some blocks and began building a cobblestone generator. But I ended up messing it up and turned the lava into obsidian. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Day 34, I went back to mining the block to hopefully get another bucket of lava, which to my surprise, I actually got relatively quickly. I then tried making a cobblestone generator yet again, and I placed it where the animals used to be, but sadly they all died when my island went up in flames. May they rest in peace. This time I built the cobblestone generator right. Thank goodness. I then mined the block some and it began to upgrade once again. It upgraded to phase 8 idle. I'll be honest, I don't know how to say that word. Anyways, I then went to the cobblestone generator and began mining to get lots of cobblestone. I then mined cobblestone until my diamond pick broke, and once it did break, I made an iron pick and once again continued to mine for more cobblestone. By day 38, I was done mining cobblestone. Day 39, I made a tiny little carrot and pumpkin farm to provide me with some food. Day 40, I began working on fixing my island. First, by adding another layer under the main part. I did this so I wouldn't accidentally mine a block and fall through it. I then began building the walls taller. Day 41 was much of the same as I continued to build up the main wall. By the end of day 42, I had the walls the height I wanted them. I then added a cobblestone roof. Day 44, I added some lighting on the inside of the room. The main purpose for this room is to keep everything bad that spawns from the one block inside of it, so they can't escape and set my island on fire, cause I have a feeling that's not too fun. After adding some light, I then added some windows on day 45. Day 46, I added some pillars to the base to make it look even better. And let's hope these ones don't burn down. Day 47, I cut down some oak trees and finished off the top of the building. It looked good so far. Day 48, I rebuilt the cobblestone generator and began using it to collect a lot more cobblestone. The night of day 49, I was done collecting cobblestone. Day 50, I began mining the one block once again. Day 51, I used a lead to guide some animals that spawned from the one block into a pen I built to keep them safe. I then went back to mining the one block. Day 52, I continued mining the block. While doing so, some phantoms kept spawning and would just fly up to the ceiling and not come back, which made it very annoying to kill them because I had to build up to them just so I could reach them. So my plan to fix that was to replace the ceiling with glass so the phantoms would burn in the sunlight, and that's exactly what I started doing on day 53. But before I could finish it, the block began upgrading to phase 9 Desolate land. Day 45, a supercharged creeper spawned from the block, which was a little scary, but I finally had a bow, so that made defeating it pretty easy. I then continued mining, and soon after, a Vex spawner guy decided to spawn, and I killed it pretty easily. And it dropped a totem of undying, which in hardcore is really nice to have. I then went back to mining the block. Day 55, a monster party spawned, and let's just say there were a lot of Vexes that almost killed me. Day 55, I did some more patchwork on the island to make room for an enchantment table, but I only had a total of 7 bookshelves because if you guys don't remember, all my animals were killed, including my cows, so I had no way to get any more leather, but I still made the enchantment table and placed it. I needed to figure out a way to get more bookshelves so I could finally enchant, but for the meantime, I just went back to mining the block. I continued mining the block until day 57 when it began to upgrade yet again. This was phase 10. The end. Day 58, I had a brilliant idea. I had a villager spawn egg I got a while ago from mining the block, so I made a cage and placed the villager in it. I then turned the villager into a librarian. Why, you may ask? Well, a librarian villager can sell bookshelves, so I used all my emeralds to get as many as I could, but I was still a little short, so I went back to mining the block to try and get more emeralds. I ended up mining for the rest of the day. Day 60 was much of the same as I continued to mine the block. While doing so, I got a monster party, but this one was definitely the easiest one so far. It was just a bunch of endermite and some endermen. It was actually kind of cute, but I sadly had to kill them all. For the next few days, all I did was mine the block until day 62 when this happened. Yeah, the end portal was now right below the one block. It was actually kind of cool, but I was not quite ready to fight the Ender Dragon right now. So I covered it up as the block began upgrading. It upgraded to the after phase. I then continued mining the block, and soon after a mushroom cow ended up spawning. So I immediately made a pen and put the mushroom cow in it. I then went back to mining the block yet again because I still needed more emeralds and diamonds. Day 63, another villager ended up spawning, and this was big because I now had another way of getting emeralds. I made a fletching table and turned the villager into a fletcher. This allows me to trade sticks for emeralds. Once I had enough emeralds, I bought the rest of the bookcases I needed to make the enchant table level 30. With the rest of the diamonds I had left over, I made an axe, chestplate, and a helmet. I then began enchanting everything. My axe got Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 4, and Fortune 3. My helmet got Protection 3, Unbreaking 3, and Aqua Infinity. My pickaxe got Unbreaking 3, Fortune 3, and Efficiency 4, which was pretty clutch. And my chestplate got Fire Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, which was definitely the worst of the bunch. I now needed to get even more diamonds so I could complete my diamond set. And on day 64, that's exactly what I began doing by mining the block. After mining all day, I decided to go to the cobblestone generator and collect lots and lots of cobblestone. Since I had a much better pick than last time, this process went a lot faster, and I ended up mining until day 67. I began day 68 by collecting some oak wood, and that's actually what I ended up doing all day. Day 69, lol, I was back mining the block. I mined the block until day 70. Day 71, I began taking down all the wood on the island because it was basically all ruined and I didn't really want to fix it all. Lots and lots of breaking blocks later, on day 74, all the wood of the island was either gone or replaced by cobblestone. For the most part, there was a little bit left. Day 75, I went back to mining the block. And that's actually what I ended up doing for the whole day. Day 76, I was still mining the block, and later that day, I finally had enough diamonds to make some leggings and boots. I then enchanted them. My leggings got Protection 3, Unbreaking 3, and my boots got Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Depth Strider 3. Once I was done enchanting, I grabbed all the iron I had and made an anvil with it. I then repaired my pickaxe. The next thing I did was grab some obsidian, and with it, I made a nether portal and headed into the nether because the next thing I wanted to do was collect lots of quartz for levels. After lots of quartz mining, I was level 41 and headed home. Day 79, I enchanted some more stuff. I enchanted a bow and didn't get anything too good on it. I then disenchanted my boots and re-enchanted them because I wanted to get feather falling, but I was unsuccessful. Since I didn't have an infinity bow, I looked around my chests for all the arrows I had. I then made some Eye of Enders and placed them in the end portal. It was now time to take on the Ender Dragon. I hopped in the portal and immediately started taking out the end crystals. With my amazing aim, this didn't take too long. Once all the end crystals were destroyed, it was now time for the Ender Dragon. I shot at it a couple times, but that's when it charged me. I smartly threw an ender pearl just in case it launched me into the air. I then continued shooting it. It decided to land and I made it pay by doing heavy damage with my axe. But that's when it launched me hundreds of blocks in the air. Luckily, I'm insane at this game and I MLG water bucketed to stay alive. Soon after, it decided to launch me in the air yet again. And obviously, I MLG water bucketed yet again. And definitely didn't absolutely break my ankles and get the post-mortal achievement. Yeah, that definitely didn't happen. The Ender Dragon decided to land one last time, and that's when I finished it off. I ran around and gathered all the XP. I then hopped into the portal. Now, before you comment you forgot the egg, well, don't worry because on day 81, I went back to get it. Now that the Ender Dragon was defeated, it was time to start working more on my island. The first thing I began making was a chest room because currently all my stuff is stored in a chest monster and is very unorganized. By day 84, the walls of the room were done and most of the chests were placed. It was now time to sort and label everything, which was gonna be a big pain. And if you don't believe me, well, it took me until day 90 just to organize everything. Yeah, it was a lot of work. That same day, I headed to the nether to get some more levels. I then re-enchanted my boots yet again to try to get a better enchant, but I got another crappy one. Next, I began clearing out all the junk on the main floor. Once all the junk was gone, I began coming up with a fence idea on day 91. And I found a design I really liked. And the best part was there was no chance of it burning down. I then added water to the outside of the fence for even more layers of protection, just in case I did fall. Once that was done, I began working on the roof for the chest room. Day 92, the roof of the chest room was done. I also added some windows and made the staircases look better. Day 94, the chest room was done and it looked pretty good. The next thing I wanted to do was build the exact same building but on the opposite side of the island. This building would be for my bedroom and the cobblestone generators. It took a while, but on day 97 my bedroom was done and it looked good. Day 98, I put some chests on my mules and moved my 2 mushroom cows into my bedroom. I then mated them and they made a little baby mushroom cow. How cute. My base was now done, at least for now. Looking back, I'm kind of glad the island burnt down because we definitely made it look a ton better. Day 99, I spent the whole day mining the block, and to my surprise, a cow ended up spawning, so I moved it to my bedroom. And just like that, it was day 100. We did it. We survived 100 days in hardcore skyblock. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know how you guys think I did. Comment below if you guys want to see 200 days. I have recently opened up 2 more channels, so if you guys would like to go subscribe to those, that would mean a lot. I'll be posting on there somewhat soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.